It was only in 2021 that the Kia Niro went on sale in Australia, and here we are in 2022 ushering in an all-new model. Put it down to timing. So with the previous car, we got it very, very late in its model life. With this new one, we're right at the pointy end of the queue. Now there is one big difference though with this car compared with the previous one. Now previously you used to be able to get a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid or a fully electric model. Nowadays we miss out on that middle one, the plug-in hybrid. Aussies it seems aren't too fussed with that compromised middle ground. There's a lot more design flair with this new Niro as well. You've got pretty sharp LED lights, a clean but bold design all over really, and the availability of a contrasting rear pillar that at the very least stands out. Inside too, huge step up. So you've got much classier finishes, the plastics and so on look a lot more modern than previously. Some of the materials in there are also quite elegant, quite upmarket, and you've got a healthy smattering of tech. So it's the battery electric one we're driving here, it's the more expensive. So pricing starts at around about $65,500 before on-road costs. Now that plonks it straight in the firing line of the Tesla Model 3, obviously the top selling EV in the country. So it's up against some pretty stiff competition. Now not a whole lot changes with the premise of the electric Niro this time round, but some of the details do. So for starters, the car's larger, it's longer and wider. You certainly get that sense of space inside the cabin. It's you've got a lot more breathing space in here. Rear seat space in particular, it's classified as a compact SUV, but you've actually got a fair bit of room back there. Still got a single electric motor driving the front wheels. So keep in mind this car is based on an internal combustion engine architecture. So it's got those, I guess, those inherent compromises built into it. Power-wise, you've got 150 kilowatts, torque 255 Newton meters. It actually makes less torque than the previous one, but once you're up and running, there's plenty there, and it actually probably gets the power to the ground slightly easier. So Kia says it's been done for drivability, and yeah, I mean, look, it's also helped by the fact that you've got the instant throttle response. The second you press the throttle, something happens. As with all Kias, the Niro has been given a local suspension tune, so a lot of development work, and you feel that as soon as you get in the car. So it's actually a really nice blend of control. It has that really good sense of getting over bumps and sorting them out pretty quickly, but also pretty sharp around the corners. So there's a fair bit of grip going on there. Some nice sort of weight to the steering, so when you tip into a corner, it gives you that reassurance. So a lot of effort gone into that, and it has paid off. You've also got paddle shifters on the steering wheel. They give you 5 different levels of regenerative braking. So basically, pull on the left-hand paddle shift and it acts like a brake effectively. So it starts slowing you down a fair bit, whereas you can run through it on the right-hand paddle shift and turn it into just coasting if you want to. So it's actually quite a handy feature for, you know, if you are in undulating terrain, for example, you can just adjust it on the run and change that level of regen to what you prefer. Now the GT line, as you'd expect, comes loaded with fruit. So you've got fake leather seats, but they're actually a really nice material, quite a nice finish on it. The cabin generally is really well presented. So it's got a bit of ambient lighting, for example, some nice interesting textures and finishes on the dash, heated and ventilated front seats, a nice big 10.25 inch colour touchscreen. So they've put a fair bit of effort in. It lives up to the price tag in that respect. It's also got a thing called Kia Connect. Now this is Kia's first telematics system in Australia, so you can do a bunch of the things that a lot of EVs can do. So locking and unlocking, for example, off a smartphone app, activating things like ventilation and so on, also keeping an eye on statistics, so energy use and that sort of stuff, and having a log of that over, you know, months, potentially years. The other thing Kia Connect does is provide information on other people driving your vehicle. So for parents, for example, they could keep an eye on what their kids are doing in the car in real time. So they can find out if the car exceeds a preset speed limit. They can also set geofencing. So if they go into an area or out of an area that they're preset, again, it'll give them a real-time alert. So some pretty useful info or alerts there for parents. When you delve into the price on this car, that's when things get a little bit murky, trying to work out exactly where it fits, because it's actually not wildly different to the Kia EV6, which is a very different car. The EV6 is much larger than this. It's built on a bespoke EV architecture. The two-wheel drive version, for example, gets rear-wheel drive, whereas this one's front-wheel drive. So they're very different cars, yet very similarly priced. So that bit's a little bit confusing. So there it is, the all-new Kia Niro, and there is a whole bunch to like, but it comes at a price, and a pretty big price at that. And that's the challenge here. If it was $10,000, maybe $15,000 cheaper, you'd launch at it because it's a genuinely endearing electric car. But at around about the money it's priced at, there's a whole heap of genuinely impressive competition. One of them is Kia's own EV6.